Alrighty guys, what's going on everybody? Welcome back here to another live stream, my friends. Hope everyone is having a fantastic day so far. Happy Saturday, August 12th, or sorry, I almost said 12th. August 17th, guys. Hope everyone's doing good. Glad to have y'all here for another update. So we got ourselves a bit of things to talk about today. First of all, regarding Ernesto, what Ernesto's currently doing, as well as severe weather side of things. We actually do have a bit of severe weather coming up here over the next couple of days, and we will be addressing that as well. But what's up, everybody? Let's see who we got here for today. We got Tabletop. We have Shelly saying wild big storm in Utah. What's up, Shelly? Hope you're doing good. We have Angelina saying hello. Andrew from Michigan. Hope you're doing good, Angelina. Glad to have you here. Of course, everybody else who is joining in and, like I said, not chatting. Hope you guys are doing all right as well. So, as of right now, Ernesto is a Category 1 storm. Let's go ahead and hop over to satellite view. We're going to take a look at it. It's actually currently dealing with a bit of problems right now regarding dry air. As we can actually see here, we do have ourselves a big set of dry air starting to wrap around this storm here. Let's go ahead and reset my pin here. It's glitching a little bit. But yeah, so we are starting to see some dry air infiltration going on into that storm, which is allowing for the storm to weaken. Now, believe it or not, the storm is actually set to pick up strength again a little bit by the time we do work our way down in time here. Let's see. What's up, Pilot? Hope you're doing good, man. What's up, Weather Tracker? T2014, hello. Hope you're doing good. What's up, Darin? Hope you're doing good. Hopefully I'm saying your name right. Hello from Washington State. What's up, man? Hope you're doing good. So, yeah, so right now we are dealing with ourselves a lot of that dry air you can kind of see wrapping around the cyclone there. Obviously, these storm systems do not like dry air, and that's a big problem for this storm right now. It's very hard to see, but if you look closely, I'm actually going to be able to zoom in for you guys a little bit more. That's Bermuda right there. That little speck that you see here, that is Bermuda. Bermuda is just a really, really small island out in the middle of the ocean. In which obviously Bermuda has been getting pounded by, you know, some strong tropical storm force and hurricane winds since yesterday. It's definitely been pretty active out there towards Bermuda. So currently, right now, regarding the storm itself, she is currently a Category 1 storm with sustained winds of 80 miles an hour. So it's kind of a lower in Category 1 as of right now. We are seeing some wind gusts up to 100 miles per hour. So we are still gusting pretty heavily up to 100. Central pressure is down to 974. We're going to take a look at the hurricane hunters here in a minute. We'll get some, we have a recon mission data coming through, so we'll get you information on that. But yeah, that was as of the 11 o'clock update. Next advisory should be issued around 2 p.m., I believe, so that should be relatively soon. We should get a new advisory coming through. I think that'd be 25, or is that 24A? I think that might be 24A coming through. So yeah, we'll have some more information here in a few moments from the Hurricane Center, as they tend to update every 3 hours or so. And the last update was at 11 p.m. It is now 1:35. So we should have a new update here in about roughly 30 minutes or so. But anyways, let's see. What's up, SPC? Hope you're doing good. She says, seems like the dry air. Seems like all the storms have been dealing with dry air. I don't think. What was it? Debbie. Debbie didn't really deal with any dry air. Debbie was a very wet storm, bringing a lot of rain. This storm here, it's obviously, since it's dealing with a lot more dry conditions. Here, let's hop back over here to this satellite view. Here's our rainfall rates projected by the satellite view. You can actually see those totals are pretty low, and actually they seem to be getting even lower. I know last frame is still rendering here, but you can see all these green dots. You might be wondering, those are lightning strikes. There is currently no lightning near the center of the storm. If you did see lightning near the core of the storm, that would indicate some strengthening, but obviously it's not strengthening because it's dealing with that dry air right now. So, but yeah, the rainfall rates are pretty low. The rain has dropped a bit. I do have a radar view that I can pull up for you guys, showing you guys the Doppler radar in Bermuda. Let's go ahead and see if I can pull it up here for you guys. Yeah, here you go. So let's go ahead and actually hop over to the full screen here. We're going to show you guys this. So this is current radar up in Bermuda as of right now. You guys can see that the core of the storm is located right in here. It's just northeast. So this actually took a direct landfall. Bermuda legitimately took a direct landfall and, went over there through Bermuda, which was kind of the worst case scenario, honestly. It's a little unfortunate. Hopefully everybody's okay out there. I mean, they definitely did get hit pretty good. But the core of the storm here is, now northeast of them, so conditions should start improving with time. And according to the latest wind field here, let's go ahead and hop you guys back over to this program real quickly. So according to the wind field here, Ernesto's hurricane force winds are kind of there for the northern part of the island. It's kind of hard to see, but yeah, it's like St. George's. So the hurricane force winds are starting to pull away from Bermuda. However, we are still seeing some of those hurricane force winds up towards the northern part of the island. The southern part of the island here is kind of more in that mid-upper level tropical storm force wind speed realm here. And of course, we have that lower mid-tropical storm force out here in the blue. So obviously, there's still a lot of tropical storm force winds to get through with the storm here. It's a pretty wide storm, but like I said, it's the winds are still there, but it's not currently strengthening. It actually says it's currently weakening due to the fact of a little bit of wind shear, as well as like we mentioned, a lot of dry air. The dry air is what's really killing the storm here overall. So let's go ahead and hop you guys over here to the sat real quickly. I want to go ahead and show you guys this view. So this is our lower level water vapor scan. You can really see that dry air wrapping in on this view. So all of that red is kind of indicating some dry air. And you can actually see that dry air is just kind of getting, moved inside of the storm. It literally spirals. You can see that. So that dry air is just getting sucked into that cyclone, which, the storm is not liking. For the storm to sustain itself or strengthen, obviously it needs a lot of moisture, and the opposite of moisture is dry air. And so we're getting a lot of that dry air pulling in, which is, kind of weakening that storm overall. What's up, pilot? Hope you're doing good. Could Ernesto head to the UK? So current guidance here for Ernesto. Some of the models, they do have it kind of pointing towards the UK. Here's the latest hurricane models. Let's go ahead and bring you all over here to that view real quickly. But it's possible, but by the time it gets there, it's probably not going to be anything super crazy. Let me go ahead and minimize that real quickly. We'll go ahead and open this up a bit. So yeah, you can see here that portions. Actually, I think that's the UK. Actually, no, that might even. I can't even tell. It's cut off. I can't even see the map there. But it is heading in that general direction. But you can see that at the end of the, the end of the models here, there's a lot of spacing. There's a lot of gaps here, which is basically showing us, hey, well, we are seeing ourselves a bit of uncertainty here overall. So that is, kind of what we're seeing here. There is obviously a bit of uncertainty, so, that far down in time, we don't really know exactly where the thing's going to end up, but at least for the next, 3-4 days or so, we are pretty consistent on those hurricane models of the storm just remaining south of Newfoundland, east of Nova Scotia, pretty far away. Although a lot of the U.S. East Coast here is going to be dealing with a lot of rip currents from the storm, because like I said, even though the storm is very far away from the U.S. East Coast, there is going to be some rip currents. That's going to be a bit of an issue for you guys out there along the eastern coast. So obviously, you want to try to avoid going out in the water right now because, like I said, those rip currents is a bit of an issue for you all. And in which, like I said, you guys definitely need to obviously know that if you do go to the beach, try not to go too far in the water. But yeah, so that's the storm right now. Once again, she's just dealing with a lot of dry air and everything like that. Now, like I mentioned, the storm is actually set to strengthen a little bit. Believe it or not, once it gets out of this dry air, it's going to be a post-tropical cyclone, but it's going to strengthen a little bit. So currently, like I mentioned, she is a Category 1, or Ernesto, I think, is that a guy name? I think it might be a guy name. Well, Ernesto is a Category 1 storm with 80-mile-an-hour sustained winds with gusts up to 100. And as we approach our way into, this evening, we are still expecting a bit of weakening to occur due to that dry air, getting down later this evening to 75 sustained with gusts up to 90. And then as we continue our way to the northeast here for basically tomorrow morning, we're going to still be roughly in that realm of 75 sustained with gusts up to 90. But look at this. As we work our way over here towards, actually, not here for the 18th, so tomorrow evening, still 75. But on the latest here, yeah, you can see right there how we go up to 80 miles an hour. So we actually are expecting maybe a little bit of strengthening, once it pulls away from that dry air. At that point in time, I think the waters are pretty, let's see, let me pull up the sea surface temperatures. I think the waters out there are going to be subtropical. Let me pull up, let's see, let's do the North Atlantic view. And we'll go ahead and bring up this overall. Hold on a minute, y'all. Let me pull this up. But yeah, the waters up there, I believe, are... Here we go. Nice. I can pull this up for y'all. Actually, hold on. So as we approach here... Okay, this is just same... Honestly, yeah, so that's kind of where the cutoff point is. So here's our sea surface temperatures. You need like 26 degrees Celsius waters or warmer to sustain and, develop tropical characteristics. By the time we get to 80, the storm's going to be like in this area here. So it's going to be kind of going into that cooler water as soon as we, potentially see maybe a little bit of strengthening. And then, of course, this thing's going to be downgraded into a tropical storm here, sustained of 70 with gusts up to 85 by the evening of the 19th here, before turning into a post-tropical cyclone, then continuing off into the North Atlantic there. So, obviously, that is, what we need to, look out there for. Like I said, there is a chance it could, like I said, people were asking if it could go towards, like the UK. Obviously, the models are still in a little bit of disagreement, but, there's a possibility. But, the storm, I want you to know, is going to be very much weakened by the time it does get over in that general area overall. Let's see here. Weather Tracker says, thanks, no problem. Ragtie says, thanks for the update. You're very welcome, man. No problem. Anytime, Ragtie. Like I said, if you guys have any questions throughout this update, feel free to let me know. We're here for you. We want to help you guys out. Let's go and hop over to models, guys. We're going to take a look at those weather models here. We're going to bring them up for y'all. So let's bring up the HWRF model. We actually have a new render coming through here, a new model run coming through here. The 12 Zulu is rendering. So obviously the first thing I want to look at is that moisture. Let's see here. Yeah, this is kind of odd. So the HWRF really doesn't take into consideration that moisture problem. I mean, you can kind of see the brown around the storm here. So the brown is indicating dry air. And obviously, the bluish green is kind of representing, saturated air or, a lot of moisture in that particular part of the atmosphere. According to HWRF, it kind of, a lot of that dry air kind of, seems to kind of, pull back right around tomorrow evening, per se, which tomorrow is what, the 18th? Okay, so by the morning of the 19th, that's whenever we're expecting maybe a little bit of strengthening, according to the Hurricane Center. And, as we approach basically the morning here, the 18th into the 19th, apparently, yeah, we're supposed to pick up a little bit of strength. So we'll see about all that. Now, obviously, like I said, the effects in Bermuda are going to start to, start to get a little bit better as time progresses. Bermuda should be mostly in the clear coming like tomorrow morning. So we're going to have some like tropical storm force winds throughout today. But, we're starting to improve as the center of the storm, kind of continues rolling to the northeast away from that storm there overall. And of course, those tropical storm winds should be mostly done by tomorrow morning. So by sunrise tomorrow morning, things should be a lot better. I mean, it'll still likely be a little windy, a little bit gusty, but regarding that sustained tropical storm force winds, that's going to be relatively gone by that point. Now we work our way down in time here. Let's go ahead and load some more of these frames here if it'll decide it wants to load. Yeah, we work our way further down in time. Now, obviously, so there's Sable Island. Isn't that the name of it? Sable Island, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so Sable Island. It looks like the HWRF has those winds, right there at, just sub-tropical storm force. Relatively, low-end tropical storm force winds there overall. So right around 2 p.m. here for the 19th, that's probably when the winds are going to be relatively the strongest. Right around the morning, going into the afternoon of the 19th. That's probably going to be the strongest for like Sable Island and some of those regions. Now you can actually see here, the HWRF has parts, of that wind field actually hitting areas out there towards Newfoundland. Now St. John's is over in this area here. There's a possibility that areas out there by St. John's might be experiencing, maybe some swelling. I mean, there's really a lot of like southeastern portions of Newfoundland, could very well be seeing maybe a bit of swelling there towards the coast, maybe a little bit of surges. Could be a possibility. Really just depends on where this thing tracks and, how strong it is by the time it gets up here. But, there will certainly be some coastal impacts for you guys out there as the system rolls through. And then, of course, the system's still quite broad, a very large system, but, it just rapidly disintegrates, once it reaches those colder waters overall. So that's the HWRF model. Let's hop over here to the HMON. So here is the HMON model. This is another run. So obviously at this point in time we're right around here. Now obviously the HMON really showed quite a broad wind field, really strong winds. We worked our way down in time here, and you can actually see that as we went down in time, throughout today, going into this evening and stuff, those conditions are going to start to get a little bit better for Bermuda. We're still going to be in that tropical storm force realm, for the most part here for like the 16th, throughout yesterday, and I meant the 17th, throughout today. And of course, things will start to improve as we work our way over here into basically tonight, late this evening into tomorrow morning is whenever things are going to get a lot better for Bermuda overall. So, like I said, at least for now, it's pretty, pretty strong. At least for now, we're still getting some pretty hefty impacts out there towards Bermuda. They still are dealing with those, tropical storm force winds right now. Those hurricane force winds, like I said, are starting to pull away for the most part. That northern part of the island, as of the last advisory, was still in that hurricane force winds, that wind field there. So yeah, things are definitely improving, but like I said, we're still going to be in that tropical storm force winds, for a little bit. What's up, Team Kenny? Hope you're doing good, man. But yeah, so we'll definitely watch out for that. Real quickly, guys, I do want to take a look at the SPC, Storm Prediction Center, here with you guys real quickly. We're going to hop over here to the SPC. We're going to take a look at the overall risk for severe weather between today and tomorrow. So today we got ourselves 3 slight risks out here for today. The biggest threats for severe weather today includes Kentucky, along the central eastern side, southern Ohio. We also have ourselves, like central Utah with a bit of severe weather expected for today. Also portions along, like western, kind of west central portions of, Oregon. And south central Washington state, we actually do have ourselves a bit of severe weather expected. Thankfully, no tornadoes are expected anywhere today. However, damaging winds, obviously the Brown showing a 5% chance of damaging winds occurring. Basically, wind gusts, between 60 and 70 miles an hour possible. 5% chance, relatively low probability across the areas of Brown. And then, of course, we have ourselves that 15% chance across the areas here of yellow. Which obviously, across those regions there, it's a little bit greater probability, but, relatively the same threat. We are expecting those wind gusts to be right up there, right around like 60 to, 70 mile per hour wind gusts overall. And of course, regarding the hail, we do have a bit of a hail threat, actually. The greatest concern for hail is going to be up there between Oregon and Washington State there in the yellow. 15% chance for hail ranging between 1 and 2 inches in diameter. Across the areas here in the Brown, same thing, 1 to 2 inches in diameter overall, regarding hail size, but just a lower probability out there. So areas along, the Ohio Valley, going there towards the Tennessee Valley, we possibly could see maybe a little bit of hail out of some of these storms here. Once again, we're ranging between 1 and 2 inches in diameter overall. So we'll keep an eye out there for that. But once again, thankfully, there is no tornadoes overall. Let's see. Weather Tracker says updates on the NHC are out. Are they? Did they do a new update? Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Last update was, 2 p.m. Still 80 sustained, so it didn't really change regarding its current winds. Let's see here. Central low is down to 974, and the movement is northeast at around 7 miles per hour. Let's go ahead and hop you guys over here to the Hurricane Center page, and we'll go take a look at that real quickly. But yeah, here's the latest regarding the Hurricane Center's page here. Squally weather still affecting Bermuda as Ernesto slows down. Dangerous beach conditions continue along the U.S. East Coast through early next week. So that's basically those rip currents I was telling you guys about. Obviously, since the storm, it's a pretty big storm. Even though it's pretty far away from the U.S., it really does rock those waters around. Which is going to allow for, some rip currents. If you don't know what a rip current is, it's basically the drawback of the ocean water. So you get a lot of big waves. Those waves, go inland, and then that water's got to go somewhere, and it comes back out to sea. And, that current that it draws back is called a rip current. And, strong rip currents are associated with these tropical cyclones because they create bigger waves, bigger currents, stronger currents. And if you get caught in those currents, it's, difficult to get out of. If you catch yourself in that scenario, swim parallel to the shore. That way you guys can, you don't want to swim directly to the shore, as you'll just continue to go back out and you'll get exhausted. You want to go parallel to the shore for the most part. But anyways, so here's some more things. Here's the wind history. This is actually pretty interesting. So the yellow here, this is showing our tropical storm force winds. Obviously, earlier in the storm's life cycle, obviously we did have some impacts in the Leeward Islands up there towards the northern Antilles. And of course, we had like Puerto Rico and some of the Virgin Islands actually did get some of those tropical storm force conditions out there as the storm, just started. Then, of course, as we've tracked our way further, into time, and as we pulled north of Puerto Rico, that's whenever the storm actually became a hurricane, as it pulled just north of Puerto Rico. And then you can actually see how, as we continue to gain latitude, the storm's hurricane field, those hurricane force winds actually, got wider. So the storm's wind field actually, grew wider. And you can obviously see Bermuda being kind of unlucky, getting right there into the middle of that big old hurricane wind field there. Now, obviously, like I mentioned, right now the storm is pulling away. I think they just canceled the hurricane warnings. Let's see here. Caden, tropical storm for 24 months, man. Thank you so much. Saying hello. What's up, man? Hope you're doing good. Thank you for your support. Definitely greatly appreciated. But yeah, look at that. They actually removed those hurricane warnings. However, we still have those tropical storm force warnings, or those tropical storm warnings in effect for Bermuda. Obviously, the wind field's still quite massive, and you can see that Bermuda's still, well in towards the middle of the storm here. But obviously the core of the storm is moving away, currently moving to the north-northeast here. So it is moving away, but it is slowing down a little bit, just a tad. But, like I said, the yellow indicating those tropical storm force winds. I mean, that extends a pretty wide distance there, as you can see. So yeah, but like I mentioned, by later tonight, late this evening, early tomorrow morning, that's whenever the conditions are going to start really improving for you guys. Throughout today, you're going to still see some tropical storm force. The worst of it's over with. Last night you really did see the heaviest of the storm, as we had those hurricane force winds out there. But luckily now things are getting a little bit better for you guys as we're starting to pull away from that massive hurricane wind field there. Overall. Now, future wind speed probabilities. Now, here's the thing. Like we were mentioning, we're going to continue to monitor the system here as it approaches southeastern Newfoundland, as there is a possibility that we could have some impacts towards some of those coastal areas, out there near like St. John's area. As you can see on that far eastern, kind of southeastern extent, there is a possibility, the graph here goes right around 30, 40, some areas right there on the edge, 40 to 50% chance of tropical storm force winds. Obviously, when we looked at the models here just a few moments ago, you did see that, some of the models did have, those winds, pointing right at the coast there, which, I do think that there is going to be a little bit of swelling, maybe some mild surges could be possible for portions, of this, the eastern, southeastern side of Newfoundland, but, honestly, it's not going to be anything super, super wild. It's not going to be like a devastating storm or anything like that. No, it should be fine. But, just out there in the coastal areas, just pay a little extra attention. Once again, maybe some minor swelling could be a possibility. Tropical storm force winds can't be ruled out in some of those areas, so keep that in mind. But, thankfully the storm will be a lot weaker by the time it reaches out there. And, of course, then it continues far out to sea, getting further and further away from land. So that will be definitely very, very good. Now, the arrival of tropical storm force winds, like I said, it'll be right around, the afternoon here for Monday is when we can expect some of those heaviest winds out there for those regions there in Newfoundland, southeastern side, out there near St. John. We could expect those to be right around the afternoon of Monday. That's kind of when we are expecting all of that to occur. But anyways, well, that's the latest there. Once again, let's go ahead and hop on back over here to the satellite view. So here's the current view of the storm. Like I said, she's not doing too well right now. She's currently ingesting a lot of dry air, which is not very good for the storm. Yeah, you can see that dry air indicated in the reddish kind of orange color here. So a lot of that dry air is just getting looped. It's a big spiral of just a bunch of dry air feeding into that storm, and obviously that's just kind of suffocating the storm. These storms, they don't do very well with dry air. They need a lot of moisture, in which, the moisture is, more of the moisture-filled air is indicated kind of in the white, gray, blue colors. And you can see like the dry air is indicated kind of in the reddish orange color. So you can see that, a lot of that dry air is just spiraling its way into the core of that storm, which is, not really liking it too much. So, but yeah, we're still in hurricane. We're still a hurricane. Like I said, she's still Category 1, the winds are currently at a sustained of 80, and we are gusting up to 100 right now. So we are, we're still getting pretty good. Actually, the latest update might be a little bit lower. Nope, still the same. 80 sustained, 100 gust, so that's kind of where we're standing. Advisory 24A here that was just released. Down to 974 millibars. Yeah, literally nothing has changed since our last advisory. So, we're still kind of rocking at low-end Category 1 right now. But, like I mentioned, I mean, she's actually expected to remain a hurricane for, quite another couple days or so. Once it kind of pulls into those subtropical waters there, once it kind of pulls up into that, realm of, into that realm with the temperatures less than 26 degrees Celsius, that's whenever the storm is going to, start to fall apart, as you need that warm ocean water for those storms to, kick off. Let's see. What's up, Storm Chaser? Hope you're doing good, my friend. But anyways, yeah, so in like we even mentioned, there is a possibility of a slight amount of strengthening that could occur. As we take a look here at the forecast track, I don't know if they changed that or not, but with this new update that just came out. But whenever it comes to it here, I mean, you can see here for the evening tomorrow evening, we're sustained at 75. And as we approach our way into the morning of, the 19th, you can see if we actually go up to 80. So, a little bit of strengthening is certainly a possibility overall. So that we'll need to watch out. That's whenever it's going to kind of pull away from some of that dry air overall and all of that. So let me go ahead and bring you guys back over here to the satellite view real quickly. I want to go ahead and point out something for y'all. So if you look closely, we actually have another low pressure system right over Michigan right now with a cold front trailing down. Now this is actually while we're getting some severe weather threats out here tomorrow for you guys in the deep south. We're going to have to watch out there for that. Now that low pressure system is currently moving its way relatively to the east, and what's going to happen is we have this air mass that's kind of pushing eastward, and that's actually what's allowing the storm to steer out, is this air mass from this low pressure system rolling through. So that's why the storms are going to be staying away from areas towards like Nova Scotia and stuff like that. Because right now it's kind of relatively moving to the north, mostly to the north right now, with a slight northeasterly move to it. But as we continue working down, it's going to start curving more to the northeast, eventually dodging those areas. So that'll be good. Like I said, keeping that storm away from Nova Scotia overall. So, anyways, let's see. But yeah, so, once again, that's the good news. It is going away from those areas, which, that will definitely make things a lot better. But anyways, guys, do y'all have any questions, anything like that? Like I said, if y'all have anything, that you want me to look at or anything like that, feel free to let me know. Once again, I appreciate y'all. Once again, thank y'all for joining us. Like I said, just a quick little update here today. Now, tomorrow, actually, on the table, I plan to do a bit of coverage. So tomorrow's threats, we don't got any tornadoes per se. Here, let's bring up our SPCA threat again. We don't have any tornadoes tomorrow per se, but we do have a pretty big slight risk going all the way from southern New Jersey, shooting down the southeast coast and up into portions like northeastern Louisiana and southeastern portions of Arkansas there. There's severe weather in Ontario with that cold front too. Gotcha. Will it miss Newfoundland now? So we talked about it a minute ago, Brady. It looks like portions of the south and southeastern side, in theory, could be dealing with a little bit of impacts regarding the storm here. Here's HMON. This model here, kind of shows things remaining fairly light. It's not going to be anything excessive. But, we could have some strong winds along the coastline, out there near Lake St. John's and some of those regions up in southeastern Newfoundland. Some models have the winds being a little bit stronger than others. Like, for example, let's see. Okay, we're back. My internet decided it wanted to give up. Are we back now? Hopefully we're back. But yeah, so the HWRF, kind of showed the storm there, impacting more of the southeastern sides here of, like I mentioned, Newfoundland. So we'll keep an eye out there for you guys. Obviously, if there's anything else that pops up, that we need to talk about it, we'll definitely mention it. But anyways, guys, well, like I said, if y'all have any final questions, feel free to let me know. Is there any other potential hurricanes anytime soon? Good question. So as of now, we're not really tracking much. The tropics, at least until the end of the month, as of right now, looks pretty calm, thankfully. That is definitely some good news. Now, here's the GFS model run. Obviously, you can see Ernesto right here, and that's that high pressure that's kind of squished to the east here, as we were forecasting a couple days ago. Yeah, we have a pretty strong area of high pressure in the eastern Atlantic, which, as we work our way down in time, and as Ernesto squeezes, that Atlantic high will return, keeping things relatively even. Now, as we work our way further down in time, obviously we're getting more into more uncharted, unknown territories the further we advance, but at least as of right now, we're not expecting any other tropical waves or anything like that as of now. Take a look at the Euro ECMWF here. This model here shows nothing really popping up either, so it's going to be relatively calm for the next week or so. So that'll be good. That'll certainly be good. At least we get a little bit of a break in the tropics. But, like I mentioned, tomorrow we have a bit of severe weather that's coming up, so we're going to need to look out there for that. But yeah, once again, as of right now, things are looking okay. So once Ernesto's done, then we should be pretty clear in the tropics for now, at least until the end. Let's see here. Harbor Freight is, let's see, the ad, and I get watching your stream. Oh, nice. But yeah, so also like I said, thankfully we're gonna have some of that high pressure, kind of push that storm out to sea a little bit. Thankfully, so that'll be good. At least that storm will be moving away from the U.S. and New England. That would obviously be a bit of a problem if it came towards New England and like Nova Scotia. Like I said, it's gonna have a close call to southeastern Newfoundland, but for the most part, like I said, it's gonna be relatively good. Once again regarding the dry air and stuff. There's a lot of dry air that's getting into that storm right now, as you can tell. That's a big problem. You can see that dry air just kind of pulling up, and as we work our way down in time, eventually that dry air is going to get kind of snipped off, and the storm should kind of maybe try to kind of keep a hold of itself for a little longer as it kind of goes up into those far north waters, which still is somewhat supportive for some strengthening. That's why we might see a little bit of strengthening, but then of course quickly turning into that subtropical water, and then of course kind of going out there to the north, eventually be getting kind of caught up there in the Arctic Circle more than likely. So that will certainly be some good news overall. But all right, guys. Well, like I said, if you have any final questions, feel free to let me know. Like I said, there's really not a whole lot more to talk about when it comes to the system here. I just wanted to go ahead and mention it, kind of, give y'all an update, kind of touch base with y'all regarding the storm. Like I said, right now, the cone, we are going to still remain a hurricane for at least the next day or two. Once again, Nova Scotia should be good. You might notice some rip currents. That's kind of the main problem for you guys out there. Just a little bit of rip currents along the Nova Scotia coast. Same thing for the U.S. East Coast. We're going to have some rip currents, So if you're out there at the beach, if you're going swimming, please be careful. Try not to go in the water too far. Honestly, I would not go any further than up to your knees because, those rip currents can be quite strong. So just know that, and also out there by Newfoundland. Once again, we're going to keep an eye out there for Newfoundland areas. St. John's. Like I mentioned, you guys could have some effects from the storm. It's certainly possible. It really just depends how close it gets, how well intact it still is by the time it gets up here. But what's up, Kim? Hello from Nova Scotia. Hope you're doing good, my friend. Yeah, thankfully you're good. Thankfully you are looking pretty good. So. Alrighty, guys. Well, that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for now. Once again, thank you all for joining. We're going to go live later this evening. I might do some live storm coverage later this evening as we have some storms going on. Tomorrow, I'm definitely going to do coverage for you guys because we have a pretty big slight risk in the south, so we'll get to that tomorrow. But alrighty, guys. Once again, I appreciate you all for joining. Thanks for hanging out with us. And like I said, we'll catch you all later this evening for another live stream. And I hope to see you guys there. All right, guys. Once again, thanks for joining, and we'll catch y'all in the next one. See you later, guys. Catch you then.